guys, welcome to the schoolroom. We just finished our first week of school and I'm really excited to show you some of the curriculum we've got for this year. What's up? We use the Sunlight curriculum as our main for like history and Bible. And I really like Sunlight. It's a literature-based curriculum, which means instead of using textbooks, they use lots of different literary works, historical novels, and little encyclopedias, and just lots of really good books that they've picked out. So yeah, this is Intro to World History, the first year. You can get it in a full year, but I got the version that's in 2 years because I like to go slow. We're reading Happy Times in Noisy Village right now, and this one I've been thinking is particularly funny because it's about 3 houses right in a row, and all the houses have a bunch of kids, and our 3 houses, like our house and our 2 neighbors on both sides, have a bunch of kids, and our kids are always loud, and so they call their little row of houses Noisy Village. And I was like, that's us. We are a noisy village here. But yeah, we are not usually disappointed by the books that come in the Sunlight curriculum. So I don't follow the schedule as strictly as some people do. I kind of follow the Brave Writer method of routine over schedule, meaning we do things at a similar time each day and in a similar order, but we are not bound by time restraints. We enjoy the time, and we take our time, and we take the time it takes to get things done.
It's so rude, it's falling apart, and now you think which group covers up the book.
And this is actually, I had a baby last year, so we took 2 months off of school, which is the beauty of homeschooling. So we didn't get through, this was actually last year's curriculum, and we didn't get through all of it, so I just said, let's just take a break for the summer. We're on week 20. And yeah, this is a curriculum, I think this one was for 6, 7, 8-year-olds, and my daughter is still 6, so we were through half of it. I don't think you really have to get through it in one entire year, and plus that's exhausting. I'd rather my kids enjoy what they're learning and not feel rushed and feel like they can really absorb it at their own rate. So yeah, that's really fun. So we spend half the morning recently doing our workbooks and half the morning doing our our reading, our literature, our history, Bible, those kinds of things. So instead of following their schedule, I definitely go off the beaten path. We do a lot of the Usborne history, Book of World History, and the Children's History of the World. And so with things like this, sometimes I'll take an entire day and do just Bible. And then sometimes I'll take and I'll go really in depth and use, because I give us about 1 hour to read. So instead of jumping from one book to the next, I like to do on Monday I might just read the Bible and we'll really get into it and talk about what different things mean. And then on Tuesday I might do all of the history reading for the whole week, or do 2 of the history days. And that way I feel like we can really get into it and really enjoy what we're reading and not have to jump around. And then on another day I might read, 5 chapters of Happy Times in Noisy Village, and the kids love those read alouds. They're really fun, and we can just keep going and going. Usually we'll sit down, and at reading time I'll give them a piece of chocolate and we'll all enjoy a piece of dark chocolate together, or some kind of little snack, and just enjoy the time reading. I think that you can get really into cramming your day with every single, we gotta get it done, and then homeschool is miserable and it's a chore. And I really love the Brave Writer, I can't remember her name, I'll find her name for you, but I'll link down below a link to her channel and her videos. I don't think she's making videos anymore, but you can buy her writing curriculum, which I plan to do in a couple of years right now. We're focusing on just like the love of literature and the reading the written word, and sometimes I'll do little writing projects, but at the moment that's not our focus. But I love the author of the Brave Writer curriculum, and she has this more relaxed, like, just enjoy homeschool. Don't freak out and think you have to get every single scrap of stuff done. And I'm finding, and again, I love the public school, and most of our friends are public school families, and they're doing a great job. I'm not saying anything like that, but I will say with this method, even when we're taking it slower with this, we're almost always getting more done than the public school kids are, as far as how much we're covering, how many books we're reading, and how far we delve into things. So don't feel like you're bound to the schedule that comes with your curriculum. I say quality is better than quantity. So there's that. Something that I really think is fun, and my daughter thinks is fun, is when you do Sunlight, you get this timeline book, and they use this from preschool all the way through to high school graduation. And as they learn their history, they come with these pages of stickers, and you cut them out. And then my daughter in particular, my son has never really enjoyed coloring very much. She colors them and then puts them in the right place on the timeline, and this just keeps going. Every year that you get a new curriculum, they give you new timeline figures in your curriculum, and then you fill up your book, and these are all the different things that you've learned over time. So yeah, that's pretty fun. Every day when we start history, my daughter's first question is, "Oh, do we get to do a sticker today?" So she really likes that. And usually I'll read while she sits and colors, and then at the end we'll put the sticker on. Now, workbooks. I guess I'll just keep this video mainly to my daughter, and then I'll do another like pre-K, preschool video later. So we started these last year. These are the books that she's completed. Where are they? 1, 2, and she's still on 3, yeah. But these are called Explode the Code, and these are really fun. Again, I had gotten the 6, 7, 8-year-old, or 5, 6, 7, I think a 6, 7, 8-year-old curriculum, and the literature curriculum was just way too advanced for her last year. She has always been very literarily inclined and very good at reading and writing. She started asking me questions at like 16 months. She wanted to know what the letters said, and by the time she was 2, she was reading like short words. And I didn't push it. I actually wanted to delay reading. I wanted to wait. But I took kind of like a child-led approach to it. And when she was asking me questions, I wasn't going to like say like, "No, we need to wait. I can't tell you that yet. That would be ridiculous." So I started. So I think like the cool thing about homeschool, I think if you are getting the vibe from this video, is that you can change what you're doing. If it's stressful for your child, take a break and think on it and do some research and find a program that works better for your child. So we did like 1 or 2 days, I think, of the Sunlight literature curriculum, and she was bored and frustrated and overwhelmed, and I said, "We're not going to do it then, like, no worry." And she didn't like the easy readers that came with it. And I was like, that is fine. There have been books that I've come across in my life that I didn't like either. And I didn't read them. I stopped reading them. And there's no reason to force, a 5-year-old to do reading that she doesn't want to do or doesn't like to do. Because I feel like the elementary age should be really about inspiring the child to love learning. And so I just scrapped all that. I didn't really scrap it. I'll save it for later and if we want to use it. But I have done a lot of research about the Brave Writer, and I think it's called IEW, which is a different writing program. So I'm doing more research, and I spoke with my friend who, she's been homeschooling for many years now, and I was like, what do you think? And she said, just focus on the love of reading in this age. And I'm like, that's brilliant. And she's like, writing is a skill that can be harvested later, but for now, just teach your kid the love of reading. And so if she said she didn't like a book, I was like, fine, we don't have to read that book. And I started asking her well, let me go back. I'll get into that in a minute. So these are Explode the Code. I started these with her last year, and she loves them. They're very intuitive. So it starts, circle the picture that starts with the letter in the box over here. And so she just started these, and I hardly have to explain anything because it's just that user friendly. And she just does it. And I would say, like, she was feeling overwhelmed with tracking the page last year. And so we just started doing this, and I just completely stopped having her read books for a little while, not forever. And she just loved Explode the Code, and so she did this one, and then she finished the second one, and then she's on to the third one. And then I've got all of these and waiting for whenever she's ready. These are 4, 5, and 6. And so I feel like that really got us over this hump of frustration around literature, and I just let her do the thing that was comfortable for her. And then in the summer, I asked, what books would you like to read? What are you interested in? She said Barbie. So let me go get those. So yeah, she said that they weren't pretty enough and not girly enough, and she wanted girly stuff. Which I was like, we'll just go with what she wants. I understand the feeling of having your own, I have my own set of books that I like, and if I'm wanting her to enjoy reading, then I should be giving her books that she enjoys reading. So I think this was the first one that she read, A Baby Doctor, and she loved it. And I will say I started the summer with the incentive. I said, for every 100 pages you read, I'll buy you a toy. So that was cool, and she's very reward motivated. And so she started, and now we're into the school year, and I'm still doing the toy thing, but I feel like just getting these first books under her belt gave her the confidence of hey, I really can do this. So we've been enjoying this, and when I'm working with my son, she usually will sit down. Well, I'll have her, obviously. I'll ask her to go sit down, and she'll pick out a book. She really also likes these I Spy books. So yeah. So now she is tracking, she is reading, and we're just taking it slow and letting her read what she wants to read. And reading is fun that way. We don't stress. It doesn't have to be some literary works yet. It just has to be something that shows her that she can do it. And the more enjoyment she gets from it, the more she's going to want to do it later. So yeah. We're also learning through this curriculum, hey Andrew, teach me some Greek. And I'm actually doing it with her because I studied Greek in college, but I've forgotten most of it now. And this is Koine Greek. This is the Greek that the Bible was written in. And it's just really slow, kindergarten level. And I think she enjoys the fact that I'm doing it with her. Kind of going over one letter at a time. And we say what the sound is, just like when we first started learning the English alphabet. So that's a cool one.
Bag, dad, bed, gab.
This is Singapore math, which I think that they may have changed. Anyway, and part of why I went with this is I looked up YouTube videos for all the different math curriculums and kind of just to get an idea of how they worked and things. But when I was in high school, my really good friend, I won't tell his name in case he doesn't want people to know, but he moved to the United States from China. He's Chinese, and we became really good friends my sophomore year. And he was brilliant with math. And he talked to me a lot about he was frustrated with the American education system because they were teaching much lower level maths than they were in China. And he was saying that because he moved to the United States and was going to school in American schools, he wasn't able to, he wouldn't ever be able to get into any of the universities in China later on. But he was saying that the math in the United States was just not as extensive as the math there. And he basically was going to have a huge hole in his education and have really limited chances or options when he got back to China, which I thought was sad for him that he had to be in this situation. So anyway, Singapore Math is a math program that is more on par with the Asian system of doing math. And so I was like, that's really cool. And I feel like this is the very lowest level. They have this kind of theory of going from concrete for little minds to abstract. Let me get the first book. So my oldest daughter already completed this book, but I bought it again for my 4-year-old because he loves math, and we'll probably actually redo this entire thing next year, but he wanted to be included, so I thought I'd just start him and he can do the best he can. There are concepts in this book that he doesn't get yet, and that's fine. You're not supposed to, he's little. But they start with very concrete ideas. They don't even start with written numerals at the beginning. It takes a long time before they get there, and they learn about plotting graphs. And a lot of it is using real objects and, hands-on examples of the numbers. I really love it. So yeah, where are we? So at this point we are getting into numbers, and she's wrapping up this kindergarten book, and then when she's finished with the kindergarten stuff, again, we started late because I had a baby last year, right at the end of August. Then this is the next level up in the Singapore math curriculum. So I haven't even had a chance to look through this yet, but it's kind of taking it from the concrete into the abstract of written numerals so that it's a very smooth transition. And kids have a very, very good understanding of what the numbers mean. The spelling you see, we didn't have to do this, but my daughter loves workbooks and can't get enough of them, so I get a lot of stuff so that she'll have lots of options. But this is cool. It teaches you spelling in a way that's more intuitive instead of teaching rules and then giving a bunch of random words. It gives you rules that you do in sequence so they go together. We don't do this one as much, but I do try to put spelling in there because I think it's really important to actually learn spelling rather than just trying to remember the entire English language. Creating a Masterpiece, which is an online program. We pay $20 a month for a subscription, and we have access to a bunch of art projects. So this is something my 6-year-old did. It's really fun. They go through and they just break down every single step, so it's easy to follow. And this is the one that I did. I actually like the one that she did better than my own. I feel like that's like, I don't know, super cool. And then this one was hers also, which I also like how she flicked more of the black dots on there, and I thought that was pretty. I was like worried it was gonna ruin mine, but she went for it, and I was like, wow, that's super cool. And then I'm gonna try not to make a mess with these. We did the Aurora Borealis. This is hers, and this is mine. So yeah, it's just really fun. And then also there's a Rosetta Stone homeschool curriculum that you can do through, I know you can buy it through Sunlight. I don't know if you can get it directly through their website. Maybe, probably. But I think we paid like maybe $150, $180 for a lifetime subscription of the Homeschool Spanish. So that's pretty cool. And she started that. So here's some clips from that.
Él corre.
Él corre.
Él corre.
Él corre.
Él cocina.
Él cocina. Él cocina.
Él cocina. Él come.
Él come. Él come.
Él come.
In addition to that, we have some friends from church who have lived in Spanish-speaking countries for the last, 10 years, and they've recently moved back, and they're homeschoolers, and they're going to have a Spanish class at their house, like an immersion program, basically. So we're going to start going over to their house, and in addition to the Rosetta Stone, she'll have like actual Spanish-speaking people to talk with, and that'll be cool. It's always nice to share homeschool with other homeschoolers. For science, we use another Sunlight curriculum. This is the Sunlight Science B, and yeah, it's just fun. They've got a lot of hands-on projects. That's in this book. This is just the schedule for that. And again, recently we've actually been picking up the pace and doing about one science project a day, and then we just read through the books a lot faster than the schedule says. I've been trying to do maybe not one a day, maybe like 2 or 3 projects a week after lunch, and usually we do a project. But this is a book, and it comes with this DVD where basically they've just gone through and done all the projects in this book on this DVD. So if something's unclear in the text of the book, you can actually watch and do it. And he kind of does silly things. It's kind of got a Bill Nye kind of vibe to it. You can tell that they were kind of drawing inspiration from Bill Nye's show in the 90s. Yeah, so it's fun. It's also literature based. This is just one of the books that we've been reading through for science. And this has been neat for geography too, because it goes through each continent, and you learn about the animals on each continent. And so like when we were learning about African animals, I bought, I think it was a BBC documentary about African animals, and we got to watch that also. And I would let the kids sit down and watch some animal documentaries, and a lot of the animals we were learning about in the book showed up in the documentary, so that they can see the animals in movement. Like, I feel like it's one thing to see a picture, but to see them, moving around and eating, and see the animal's body language in motion is just really cool. To add something like that, and that's not part of those documentaries, are not part of the curriculum. I just go out and find animal documentaries that they can watch along with it based on what continent. So this is all really fun. We love our science project. Last year the program is broken into a couple of different sections. The beginning of the year was all magnets, and we even made like an electromagnet. So, alright, hold it straight like this. And then if we go like, oops, sorry. If we go like this.
There.
No, alright, put it down on the table. Okay. Alright, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Whoa, I got it.
Which was super cool. Like, who thought we were going to be making that in kindergarten? It was really neat. So yeah, it's just really fun. Homeschool's fun. It's fun as an adult to get to learn all this stuff again, and it's fun to get to see your kids. I kind of equate it to it's like so exciting to see your child take their first steps, and I feel like how much even more so getting to see my daughter read her first book and be there to, cheer with her and see her excitement over that is, you get to see all the firsts, and that is really cool. So keep learning. I'm learning a lot, and happy homeschooling.
Subscribe. Hit notification bell.